Boy.
Our weekly duologue.
Oh. Well, why not? Well, it's a triple log. Because she has things to say about it. Ricky Rick.
So, we moved to,
Sherwood Forest RV Resort in Kissimmee, Florida.
and you found,
Muscovy ducks. But they're different than ours because they're like really dark green, black, and blue. But they look just like the northern ones that I've seen, just darker.
and the other excitement was that we found a whole flock of babies.
Oh my gosh, yes, ironically, in the Cracker Barrel parking lot of all places. They were so cute and fuzzy.
And, yeah, which is right next to 192, which is, about, 6 lanes of traffic?
Don't make me want to go out there and stick those babies up my shirt and bring them home, because I will. And when you have little baby Muscovies running around the camper, you will have only yourself to thank.
We're happy with the campground, but we are irritated by the typical lies. Whenever we called and asked to reserve this place, I specifically asked how many people were here. Oh, it's almost full, we got from the first lady. And then I called the campground directly and got the exact same response. The campground's almost full.
Oh yes, if you don't commit now, you are not going to get a spot. And it wasn't just this campground, it was multiple campgrounds.
Yes, we had one guy in particular. He said that we're full. I said, oh, okay. I said, you were just one of 3 that I was checking on, to see about working at the hospital near you. I hung up. Literally 3 minutes later, he called and said, hey, we had 2 people leave since you called in the last 5 minutes. I'm like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just frustrating because the campground is probably about half or less than half.
Oh, easily. I mean, there's rows of empty sites. If anybody is looking for an escape for like a week or so down here, our campground, you can find a spot. It's pretty empty.
Yeah. Now everybody here seems quite happy, and our closest neighbors are both in their early 80s or right at 80.
I would say probably their late 70s, early 80s.
One set said that they were 79. I think they turned 80 this year. And the other set I swore looked older. But either way, she's the nurse. She probably is much closer to that. But 2 of them got shots, and 2 of them got natural antibodies last week because they were both sick, and they were
positive for COVID. So there's actually a decent amount of it down here, and we've seen like varying degrees of concern. Some people just go around like, they're totally relaxed, and other people, you can tell that they're concerned. They they're doing the distance, like they're staying away. So we all try to respect each other. If you see somebody that looks like they are trying to stay away, you give them a nice wide berth. And
yeah, most people are doing it what I consider correctly. They're not wearing masks to walk down the sidewalk because the sidewalks are really wide down here.
You can really easily social distance.
But as soon as you go into a store or any place like that, you typically, you always put on a mask. But what I'm saying typically is some of the store owners in this area aren't wearing them in their own stores. So.
Well, like, for instance, last night we went to our place that we always go to down here, the fun spot in Old Town. Even though it's outside, it's people are walking around, they're standing in lines, we all wore our masks because we're all
Close
together
in lines.
It's really hard to avoid each other in that kind of situation, so.
I'm sure you guys are all tired of listening to any of this stuff, but we figured it might be a little bit different since this is theme park and
Well, you just wonder how on earth you can pull it off in like a theme park setting. Like I really. Oh, and the other thing I thought that was kind of wild is after every use, like every time the ride goes, the workers go through and they clean off all the carts.
Every single seat.
They do a good job. They do a good job as far as I can see. As safe as you can be going to an amusement park. If you're going to an amusement park, you're probably not that concerned.
And
right?
they are having shows, but they are really sparse. There was an old time. Usually there are only 2 or 3 people singing, and the audience is very sparse. Just lawn chairs. But they are still having shows of sorts. And
the thing that I like to hear is a lot of the residents starting to talk about getting their shot, which I haven't even gotten mine yet.
no.
Not because I don't want it. It's just that the end of my contract came, and that's when the vaccine became available, and I just figured, the next time it's offered, if it is offered, I'll get it.
And strangely enough, I never thought of this either, but a lot of the same couples are getting different shots because one's a veteran, so he goes to the VA and gets Moderna.
I think he got the Moderna and his wife got the Pfizer.
And then they have to go back at different times because one is so many days apart and the other one's so many days away.
And for anybody who has any questions about, like, what did they talk about any side effects? The only side effects they talked about was they felt a little pain in their arm, and I think the husband felt a little tired. Other than that, they didn't seem to have any symptoms that they felt were worth mentioning.
The worst we've heard out of co-workers and stuff like that was Tylenol. But you shouldn't take the Tylenol. But they were feeling achy and took the Tylenol and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've been told that you want to shy away from doing that if you can, because you do want the immune system to mount a response. That's the whole purpose of the shot. But obviously, if you're miserable, what are you going to do?
And let's see, what else about the campground? The good thing is, for me, let's talk about me.
Yeah.
We came down to the fun spot like we're talking about, which is also Old Town, and we got yearly passes up there because I love walking up there and I've already lost 6 or 7 pounds
Yes.
in the 2 weeks because it's about a mile
Easily.
mile and a half maybe each direction. So we've been putting in about 6 to 7 miles every day with the other walking. Aldi's is right up the street. It's probably about a half mile, something like that. So we walk up to Aldi's and get our food and walk back. And
yeah, we've been pretty happy. We've been eating out a lot less, trying to cook at home more.
Because we're cheap.
Well, right now, I mean, before contract starts,
we were awfully good about going to restaurants in our area because we have people that we know and want to support, and I guess down here we just don't know these people. And most of the restaurants,
they're all chains.
Yeah, most of the restaurants down here are typically theme parks / whatever.
They're not family owned. Things.
And what else? Oh, we just finished up a little tiny project back here because whenever you live in a motorhome, whether it's brand new or old, there's a project about never ending. Little small ones, but like today we just epoxied 2 little pieces that were coming apart back here.
Just know, even if you get a new one, never ending. They all have little bugs.
But they're not huge. You just do one thing every day, and you're good.
Yep, for sure. And what else? What else do we want to talk about?
I guess that's about it. You don't start. We were kind of surprised. We thought she was going to start on Monday, but she starts Tuesday in the afternoon, and she didn't have a bunch of modules to do. unless they're waiting till the very last second.
I sincerely doubt that. Everything I understand, the way it was explained to me, is I will be doing my modules at the facility, which is so nice. In years past, I've had to do all my computer orientation modules, hours. We're talking like 20 plus hours of modules before I ever stepped foot in the hospital. You don't get paid for it. It just was really a frustrating thing. And so this time when they said, oh no, you're going to do all that here at the hospital, I almost fell over. I was pretty happy about that.
And the facility itself is brand new and pretty, and
Yeah,
I mean, probably isn't brand new because it's been around for years, but
it just looks very well kept up. It's beautiful. Not saying we don't know anything about it really, as far as, I haven't really stepped foot in it, but everybody I've spoken with is very friendly and sounds very welcoming. My interviewer was very friendly and welcoming, and if I always get on Facebook, and if I have a question about a facility, I just type that facility into the travel nurse Gypsy Facebook page, whatever facility, and see what people are saying. I have really yet to see anything negative about this particular facility. Everybody says they love it, and so I'm...
The only concern is driving her there, because Route 4, if you've ever ridden on Route 4, it's huge.
Yeah, it could be a potential disaster. I mean, it's there.
And it's about 25 minutes from here, which is no big deal, especially since that's my only job in the world, is to be a chauffeur. But if Route 4 breaks... And nobody drives normal down here in Florida. Nobody.
There's a special way to drive down here. Like, you're doing it wrong if you're not afraid for your life.
And I'm sure that I'm one of the ones they complain about whenever I drive the motorhome, because I do drive at about 65 instead of 70 miles an hour. I usually drive 5 miles and under. But, you got people weaving in and out. You got people, I swear, came from other countries and just rented a car, and they're used to driving on the other side of the road.
So there's just a lot that you see that you just go, you don't want to see. And, this area is just inundated with what Scott and I are beginning to refer lovingly as fart cars.
Well, yeah.
Loud exhaust cars. If you have one with love, I'm glad you like your vehicle and all that stuff, but I absolutely hate them. I hate the sound of them. They're even worse at 2 o'clock in the morning whenever you woke up and you hear whatever.
And
it's awful.
I think in the rest of the world, about 1 in 20 cars might be a standard. Down here, I think you're down to 1 in 8. I mean, it's just amazing how many standard cars you
All 12% of the standard cars in the United States are here. The one that was floating around our car that's a standard, they're just now they're all here because we're here.
And Ryan's doing well in school,
yep.
And he just took off since we bought the season passes to the park. He went up to ride a few roller coasters and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, the one roller coaster that's up there is a wooden roller coaster, which I have sworn off all wooden roller coasters, but this one I had to try because I've never seen a wooden roller coaster that barrel rolls.
No, it barrel rolls, and then even the banks, whenever you come up around the banks, they're almost upside down. And it's just really cool.
I personally was very impressed, but it was really hard. I don't know. I'm just old.
Some of us are older than others. I loved it.
It felt like my teeth were going to rattle out right out of my head, and what's left of my brain was going to ooze out of my nose. It was just really, really rough.
And that might be why I didn't have any problems. No brain to rattle. So we were all good there.
But everything else up there is good. They have a nice go-kart track, and yeah, one of the interesting things since we've been here is, for the first time ever, my 15-year-old uttered the words, do you think I could get a job? And I almost fell over. I'm like, you understand what a job is, right? Got to show up on time,
Well, he
clean and ready to go, right?
He loves military history, and the Military History Museum is next door. So I think he would be happy working in there, just breathing the air.
Probably. He loves talking about all those kinds of things with people. I mean, I was never interested in anything like that. So it's nice whenever we get in an area like this and there's something like that. Ryan he just glows. He just loves talking, military jargon with people. So it's good. It's good. I'm glad for him. But yeah,
And I think that's all we know this week.
pretty much.
That's pretty much it. So, hey, thanks for coming and seeing us, and we'll see you next Thursday. I'm trying to do these every Thursday to become your Thursday thing.
Except that this is actually Sunday.
Well, yeah, but I'm going to put them out every Thursday. You don't have to tell all my secrets, Jamie.